I'll be reading from my second novel. It's a bad world, which I should probably grab a copy of to read. While the antique man lay suffering in the hospital, and the two lovers, collectively known as the Picasso Killer, terrorized and tortured a murder groupie who went by the handle Absurd Bird 666, another man with an unusual pseudonym of his own was crouching by an open window, watching a U.S. senator through a sniper's sight. The assassin's Christian name was Jack, but to most, he was known only as the Rhodesian. The job he was working was as simple and as clean as they come, completely motivated by financial concerns. Politician A was trying to push a law that interfered with CEO B's bottom line. Usually companies in the U.S. didn't conduct businesses in this way, but Jack's employer was a new money kind of guy and was used to getting his way. Jack wasn't 100% sure on the details, nor did he care to be. His sphere of concern was bound by his bank account on one side and his reputation on the other, with strippers somewhere in the middle. Some mercs tried to fight on the side of the angels when circumstances allowed. Jack didn't believe in angels. He'd made his sniper's nest in the window of an office building across the street from where the senator would be dining. The spot gave a clear view, allowing for a clean, easy shot. The place also had a quick escape route, which would allow him egress before a 911 dispatcher would even pick up the call. "Did you know that GMOs are more addictive than heroin?" a slurred voice from the corner of the office questioned. Now, my wife's going to hit me because I'm going to do a Rhodesian accent. "I hear that, China. Those pricks in the food industry have me eating 2 or 3 times a day. I just can't stop," Jack responded in a gregarious manner. Just to keep things tidy, Jack had captured and drugged some far-left blogger named Tyrone Wells. Wells was best known for writing scathing and poorly edited calls to arms against the American empire. He also had a record for destruction of property. When the police did eventually find the Rhodesian setup, they would also find a strung-out Tyrone Wells with his well-documented fingerprints all over the sniper rifle. The time had just about come to pull the trigger. The gray-haired lawmaker had been having dinner with a woman half his age at some haughty Italian place with dim lights and pricey wine. The Rhodesian hadn't wanted to ruin an expensive meal for the other folks inside, so he'd waited for Mr. New York Senator to shuffle off toward his waiting town car. He was still arm in arm with the young girl, and Jack smiled, imagining what her face was going to look like in a minute when her sugar daddy's head exploded. "What are you doing over there anyway?" Tyrone asked in a confused, drug-addled tone. "I'm not doing shit. I'm just like a manifestation of your subconscious. But you fucko, you're about to destroy a piece of the American murder machine. Sound good?" Tyrone giggled and replied with something that sounded like a yes. The senator's temple was in the center of Jack's crosshairs. Individual strands of hair were distinguishable in his scope. This would be a clean shot, he knew. He inhaled deeply, getting ready to squeeze the trigger. Before he could exhale, Taylor Swift's voice filled the office, accompanied by horns and drums. "WTF," Jack exclaimed in an angry whisper. He let go of his rifle for a moment and reached into his pocket to silence the call. His face was red with embarrassment. Here he was, a world-class gun for hire, a soldier since his parents were gunned down in his youth, and he couldn't remember to silence his phone before pulling an assassination. "That's not my ringtone," muttered Tyrone. "What's with the pop shit?" "It's because you're secretly in love with Miss Swift, just like everyone else in the world." There was anger in the Rhodesian's voice, both in himself for the cell phone thing, and well for Taylor's music. "Truth," Tyrone replied. "Damn straight," thought the Rhodesian. Jack set his scope on the senator again. He was waiting beside the car as the driver opened the Lincoln's door for him and his date. Jack took another deep breath and the cell phone rang again. He muttered an impolite word, but this time kept to the task in hand. He didn't want to lose his shot. Behind him, Tyrone had given in to the pop side and was mumbling about staying out too late and going on too many dates. Jack took one deep breath, ignoring his ringtone and the drug-slurred singing. The world around him vanished, and all that was left was his gun and the senator. He exhaled and pulled the trigger. His scope saw nothing but red for a moment, as the senator made his transformation from man to meat. Curious, Jack moved his scope to the lady friend. She was the image of the Hollywood scream queen, a young and beautiful creature, screeching in wide-eyed terror, drenched in blood, gray matter splattered across her face and dripping down her cleavage. "Sweet dreams, Jackie L." The Rhodesian stood up, leaving his rifle by the window, and walked over to Tyrone, pulling 2 objects from his pocket. One was a cell phone, which had stopped ringing. The other was a handcuff key. He reached down, uncuffed Tyrone from a heavy desk, and placed the cuffs in his jacket pocket. "You did it, T. You're a genuine revolutionary. You sit back and bask in the glory for a bit." Jack didn't need to encourage his patsy to stay put. Wells had enough smack pumping through his system to keep him down for another several hours. There was no way he could beat feet before the cops showed up. All in all, Jack felt like the job went pretty well. The senator was dead, and the cops could easily pin it on Wells, which would make them look good. A lack of a real investigation would benefit himself and his client, and as for Wells, well, he'd get some real street cred. They might even put his face on a t-shirt, as they occasionally did with communist murderers. It was a win for everyone, except for the senator and his girlie, perhaps. Jack left the office building and stepped into the back alley, per his exit strategy. He looked at his phone and saw 2 missed calls from his agent. A moment later, it rang again. Jack slid his thumb across the touchscreen, answering the call. "Seriously, you'd better be on fire, Holly," Jack said instead of hello. He walked as Holly spoke on the other end of the line. She rambled on for a minute straight, overexcited about some job, but Jack couldn't quite understand her quick, stumbling jabber. What she ended with, though, made him stop dead in his tracks. "Wait, he's offering how much?" Jack began walking as Holly spoke, remembering that he needed to put some distance between himself and the political assassin Tyrone Wells. $10 million to track down a couple of knives. Is he out of his mind? Eamon Brewster was out of his mind. He also enjoyed the internet. Unlike many men his age, he found technology to be delightful and magically alluring. Traditional scrying methods had never served him well. No visions danced and fired before his third eye. He could not gaze into a pool of lamb's blood and watch over his enemies. Farsight was simply not in his magical toolbox. The modern age had armed the 90-year-old occultist with far more reliable tools for watching over the doings of allies and enemies. Social media was his hill scaff, the throne from which he might view the entire world from afar. Others might mistake the hours he spent each day searching through hordes of user profiles and countless cat memes as a creepy hobby of an old man waiting to die. Eamon, on the other hand, regarded those increasingly precious hours as the investment of an old man fighting oblivion. Out in the world there were magical things, ancient artifacts pulsing with the power of demons and saints. Some of those artifacts had the ability not only to heal the sick, but to reverse the ravages of time. Eamon had been waiting, knowing that in this day and age, when nearly everyone was compelled to overshare on a global scale, someone would eventually slip up and reveal one of these artifacts. Still, when the moment finally came, Eamon could hardly believe it. Posted on Instagram was a picture of a mere child posing with the fangs of Wallachia as if they were some QVC knockoff. The girl, maybe 9 or 10 years old, was trying hard to look tough, her lips pressed out in a pouty grimace. She held the legendary blades, a set of knives first owned by Vlad Tepes, then later Jack the Ripper, in an X in front of her. It was surreal, but the markings were unmistakable. The Dragon's Cross, the symbol of the knighthood to which the real-life Dracula had belonged, graced the pommel of one knife. The other pommel was engraved with the Enochian sigil of the angel Samuel, the venom of God. How the girl had come across such powerful artifacts, Eamon cared little. He doubted that this child could possibly understand the magic of what she held. The blades were said to absorb the life force of one's victim and fill their user with stolen vitality. Even if the girl was privy to such knowledge, she couldn't hope to hold on to them. It would only be a matter of time before some bad man snatched them away. Eamon had just hired such a man. If the child who currently possessed the blades was the only concern, he could have dropped a few $100 on any old thug to secure the fangs of Wallachia. But there would be others, out for the same treasure to see. Anticipating interference from other agencies, Eamon had sought the best mercenary he could find, the Rhodesian. Eamon offered the Rhodesian agent $10 million for the set delivered to his door. That was the bulk of the old man's fortune. He would have happily parted with all $11 million if it meant the fangs would be his. Age had robbed him of so much. He could no longer stomach eating a rich meal. His limp dick would not rise for a beautiful woman. Nights spent under the stars invoking ancient rites. He'd been traded for days hooked up to a dialysis machine. If the fangs could do what legend said, it would be a worthy investment. He would be young again, with $1 million in his bank account and a fine home. That certainly beat his current situation. While Eamon had found it imperative to warn the Rhodesian that others would be after the same prize as he he dared not reveal its magical nature. The mercenary might be tempted to take the knives for himself, after all. The Rhodesian had a reputation for honoring his contracts, but eternal youth was universal with any else. The other day, he walked beneath the bleeding, suspended body of a prostitute. Clearly, they were invoking a rite of rejuvenation inspired by Elizabeth Bathory. If these two young, otherwise normal people would murder for vitality, would the Rhodesian not break a simple work-for-hire agreement? Best not to take chances, Eamon decided. He would have one of his acolytes prepare a circle tonight so that he might cast a gaze of deception upon the Rhodesian and blind him to truth. The winter night's chill would take a toll on his body, and within a few days it would not matter. Eamon Brewster would be reborn. Thank you. It's a bad world, which is over there for sale, free on Kindle Unlimited. What's your name? Curtis M. Lawson.